Okay, so let's take a look at how we add a new post to a WordPress site. So this here is an article that's come out in an online edition of the newspaper, and we want to add this really good news story from the Liaison Times to the Lao National Tourism website. So I log into my website, and this is the page that comes up. This is, of course, called the dashboard, and it gives you a quick overview of places to go. One thing you can do is you can start right here a quick draft. So that's a shortcut. But what I'm going to do is show you. I'm going to show you the longer and the better way. So what it is that you want to add is a post. We're almost never going to be adding new pages. What you'll be doing is adding a post. And if I look at all posts, I'm literally going to see exactly that, all the posts that have been created. And from there, I can say add new. Or when I clicked on here from all posts, I could have just said add new from the start. So I say add new. Now the nice thing is what has come up is called blocks. So anytime I start clicking anywhere, it actually creates a new, what they're calling a block. So you can start by adding text, and then you can change its formatting afterwards. So that's just like Word, where you can type something and then you can highlight it afterwards, and you can say, I want this whole section to be bold, or I want it to be a headline. So let's see. Let's keep our title the same. So I'm just going to highlight that and go Control-C for copy. And here I'm going to say, so I'm going to paste it. The shortcut is Control-V. Now I want my text, right? So I go back there and I'm going to highlight my text. So highlight the story. Once again, copy it, Control-C, and paste, Control-V. Now you can see by default, so each of these is a block, and by default it's the paragraph format. So that shows the paragraph format. So that's good. It's exactly as we wanted it to be. If I had wanted this section to be the headline, I could go in there and I could click on heading, or I could make it into a nice quote. Let's see an example. Let's do this one as a quote. So now I go in there and I can make that a nice quote. So we just want the text that's quoted. So citation means who said it, and in this case it's Wanderlust magazine. Now what's handy is as you're working, it should be saving for you, but just to be careful, you can save your draft. And at any stage you can preview it. So it's not live on the website yet, but you can see what it looks like. So I'm curious to see how our quote is going to look, so let's have a look at that. I think that quote looks quite nice, don't you think? The great thing is these hyperlinks from the original story have all still come through. Isn't that fantastic? So still, if we click on any of those, we will go to the original link that the original story referenced. So that's a different story, and that's the same link as was linked here in our original story. Okay? But what's the other thing that we want? We want a picture, right? So our text is looking very good. We're going to add a picture. But one last thing before we do that. Remember that we have cut and paste from somewhere else. So we do want to give them credit. These are not our own words. So it comes from the Laotian Times. And this is the link to that article. So once again, I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to go Control-C for copy. And at the bottom, so I hit enter. And now I'm going to say source. So we're telling people where the story comes from. And I'm going to say the Laotian Times. Now, I tell you what, why don't we put that in italics? But the other thing is now we're going to link to their actual story. So now that URL that we copied, I'm going to go Control-V. And when somebody opens it, I want them to open in a new tab. So that means our website will still be open and this will add separately. So I'm going to switch that on. Now I just press enter. And that's going to be at the bottom of the story. Let's save our draft. And let's preview it again. Looking good, right? And there, once again, we're clear. We're not pretending we wrote this. We're giving credit to where it was written. But, like I said, we want our photograph. So, just to stop ourselves being confused, let's close each of these additional pages. So there we are to our post. So this was a block. Note here that we're editing. So each of these is blocks. And at any time, I can go in here and I can change the style of any block that I'm in. So any block here, it gives me some options over there. For example, here, it suggests a drop cap. So why don't we do that? Once again, I can save it and I can preview it. That looks quite nice, don't you think? Except it's a bit weird with these two paragraphs. So I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to make this one paragraph. Whoops, mistake. Now I think it's probably going to look best. So once again, I'm going to save. That's looking pretty good, right? So that's at the drop cap. Just means it's a big first letter. Right. So we've done all we can with our blocks. Now let's go to document. Document just means this whole page. And there's some really important things here. So visibility, yes, we want everyone to see it. Publish immediately. Now we haven't published yet, but that means when I hit publish, it'll publish immediately. But on the other hand, you could write something in advance. And you could say, I want this to be published on the 1st of next month or the 15th of next month. I'm Dominique, so that's automatically, I logged in as Dominique, so that's how I know it knows I'm the author. And here we go. We wanted this as updates. In the future, we can have different categories, but right now we want this as updates. And here's the thing. Let's put in tags. The tags are things that people might search for that this would come up. So, of course, what are our obvious tags? We want La, we want Wanderlust magazine. Notice I'm typing, there's spaces there, that's fine, but now as soon as I do comma space, it finishes that. Awards, comma space, what else did they say? Smiley, scenic, good value. Let's say that. Smiley, comma, scenic, comma, good value, comma. And let's also put in Southeast Asia. ASEAN, Asia, travel, let's say things like bucket list. Right, now our featured image. So we're going to use the same image there. So I'm right clicking on there. I'm saying save my linked file to downloads. And now when I go to downloads, there it is downloaded already. Right. So I go back. I now have the machine. I now have the picture on my machine. So I'm going to click on set featured image. I'm going into my existing media library. What I have to do is I need to add that picture to my media library. So I'm going to go upload files, and I'm going to select it, and there it is. Choose. But look here, this isn't our picture, right? So let's give credit. Noation Times is where it comes from. And set featured image. All of these other things you can leave exactly the same. So let's save the draft again. Let's preview it. Not bad, right? Only what I'm looking at is, I think this is maybe a better paragraph than this one to make our quote. So should we fix that? Let's go back, and I'm just going to click on this one, and I'm going to say, actually, I just want that to be paragraph. I'm going to backspace the magazine. Said, and let's make this one the pull quote. So there we're going to say quote. We'll just take out this part. Whoops. Take out that final stop. And now we'll say Wanderlust Magazine class notation. Now I'm going to save the draft again. Let's go into our preview. I'm going to refresh. Ah, that looks good, right? Good. So let's close the preview. Now that we're happy with everything, we can publish. And it wants us to double check. We say yes to the public, yes immediately. I press publish again. And that's it. So now, if I want to share this on Facebook, I can just copy that link. I can go to Facebook. I can just Control V to paste. And I can write my post here in Facebook. I can say, isn't it great, blah, 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 and write my article on Facebook, and then it'll show up. So that's pretty easy, right? A good way to add a post to the website as well as to share it to social media.